Hey, it's iEmpire here with Volume 17 of PlayStation 5 Hidden Gems. Thanks for stopping by today. Two really quick things before we get to the games. Number one, I apologize if you hear the fans of my heaters in the background. It is freezing where I live, so I have to have those going. Number two, had a family emergency. Everything's cool, but it set me back quite a bit in the amount of time I had to prepare videos this week because I want to do PS5 and Switch videos. So I'm going to be referring to my notes a lot more than I wanted to, but that's the way that goes. Alright, so our first game today is Fantasian and the Neo Dimension. And this is a fantastic JRPG, turn-based, and it was created by the developer of the early Final Fantasy games, and it really shows in the nostalgia this game has. The game started on Apple Arcade, now it's on the PS5, and now it's fully voice acted. It's got great cutscenes, tons of difficulty settings, and you have your choice of the Japanese or English for your voiceovers. So it's a story of Leo, and he's a young man who's trying to get his memories back after he lost them and going into an alternate dimension called the Machine Realm, where the plot is that you're trying to fight the takeover of the world through an infection. Amazing artwork and level design in this game. The levels are hand done, and then they're 3D photographed into the game. Looks fantastic. So it's inside, outside, dungeons, buildings, inside and out. And the level design is great. It's really fun to explore. There's lots of treasures and items to find in them. The combat is turn-based, and it also has a traversal system for your weapons. So each character has the ability, and it means you can steer the course of your weapon. It adds a lot of tactic and fun to the combat. Grinding, as you know, in turn-based games, it can get annoying sometimes where you're constantly going into these random battles. Here you can transfer those enemies into an alternate dimension and save up a lot of those enemies and then fight them in one battle, reducing the amount of grind in the game. That's a challenging game. You definitely have to have strategy. You need to make sure you're using your character's buffs, debuffs, strengths, and because it can really kick your butt, even with the different difficulty settings. But a really great JRPG, great for nostalgia for older gamers or new gamers that are into the JRPGs. So, highly recommend. So let's check out the trailer for Fantasian Neo Dimension.
I started regaining my memories little by little. And all along, we all fought together. Because we knew nobody, not even a god, should get to mess with our worlds.
Well, I haven't found all the answers I'm looking for. But at least I'm out seeing the world.
Can't say much for the decor, can you? Better be ready for anything.
But still, we need such power if we're to stop this world from ending.
Look at it this way, bro. You give me hope.
Let's go. It's my turn to return the favor.
But you weren't planning on leaving any of us behind, were you, Leo?
Now, chaos shall triumph over order. Show me what your multiverse is worth to you.
Perhaps they can tell you what you wish to know.
I'll get them all back, whatever it takes. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go to the God Realm.
Alright, our next title is Super Sammy Roll, and this is a real hidden gem and a real blast to play. So this is half 3D platformer, half ball rolling. Think Marble Madness, not Super Monkey Ball. In Super Monkey Ball, you tilt your whole environment. In this game, you just roll Sammy. Cute little story, but the gameplay is really where it's at. It's in third-person perspective as you guide Sammy through the levels. Fantastic level design, nice variety of levels, surfaces, enemies, bosses, obstacles. Along with rolling Sammy, you've also got wall jumps, bounce, tongue grab that's like a grapple, spring and bounce pads, and spikes, and a whole lot more. Tons of collectibles to find in the game, and it's got 4 different difficulty levels, ranging from you've got a lot of checkpoints, and with no time limit, to you've got to get through the whole level in one shot. So can really customize with that. So really fun, addictive gameplay though, and it's got that just one more try game quality to it. So let's check out the trailer for Super Sammy roll. A lot of fun. Alright, this game is another really quiet release for the PlayStation 5, and that's Freedom Wars Remastered. So, this is a really surprisingly quiet release. It didn't even get a North American release. It was originally released in 2014 on the Vita, and it was locked on the handheld until this remaster. And it's around a 30-hour campaign, an action RPG. So, it takes place in a futuristic, dystopian, post-apocalyptic world where the surface of the earth has become uninhabitable due to these giant monsters called abductors. And it's a really brutal society. If you aren't the upper class people, when you're born, you're sentenced to a 1,000,000-year prison sentence in these giant underground prisons called panopticons. And you have to work off your sentence throughout your lifetime. And you can also get your sentence added on to if you fail your mission, you take too long in your mission, and you talk to certain people. Missions typically have you doing things like taking out the abductors or saving those upper class citizens. Fast and fluid combat's a lot of fun. You've got ranged and melee weapons, and typically you upgrade them through from the abductors that you slay. Besides your weapons, you have a thing called the Thorn, and it's like a lasso grapple, and you use it to traverse the environment as well. You can use it on enemies as well. It's single or multiplayer. You can do multiplayer up to 4 to go out and take out abductors, or you can do 4v4 PvP VE. It's 4K 60, and it's got English dub available, better textures, improvements to the crafts and upgrade system. Really fun game, highly recommend it. So let's check out the trailer for Freedom Wars Remastered.
You are a sinner. You are guilty of the most serious infringement of the People's Charter, being an unproductive drain on resources. You are not permitted to escape. You are not permitted to wear unauthorized clothing. You are not permitted to sleep lying down. You are not permitted to speak of or think about the future. You are not permitted to refuse surveillance. You are not permitted to use violence. You are not permitted to use violence. You are not permitted to use. Welcome to the Panopticon.
Luckily, all you have to do is take part in the re-education initiative and start again from Code 1. Oh, and have your sentence reset to 1,000,000 years. Okay with you?
Then you got some difficult choices ahead of you. In this world, you gotta decide how you're gonna fight and live with that decision. It's just about the only freedom you've got.
Hey, is this that piece of Shaz you were telling me about? Well, the name's Matthias. Think you can remember that?
Listen very carefully, Worm. You have no right whatsoever to question the methods of your Panopticon.
The name's Carlos. I've known you since forever.
I am from on high. I am searching for my father.
What mankind needs is conflict. I shall lead mankind into a glorious new era of strife.
Imagine a single loaf of bread. Imagine that it is given to 2 starving men. Are they inclined to share it? Or do they fight to have it all for themselves? Well, let me tell you.
And when you do, you have to help her. helping her will be the first step on your journey towards the great transformation.
Alright, our next game is a hack and slash action RPG, and that's Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. I think this is a little bit of a divisive game. It had kind of a rough start in the beginning, had a lot of bugs, and it's kind of a love or hate it game. But it's soon to be delisted, and the online multiplayer is going to be taken out, and only the single player campaign offline is what's going to remain. So if it's a game you're interested in, I'll grab it now. So it's set in Icewind Dale, and you have these 4 heroes that are defending this crystal from a lot of enemies in the area that want it for power. It's not much of a narrative, it works, but the main focus of the game, intentionally, it was gameplay, not story. So the heroes have their own specific skills and abilities, like range, melee, magic, typical kind of heroes you would expect. There's 21 levels, they're linear, but they have branching paths. There's a hub world where you select your missions, your side missions, upgrade your gear and the like. And besides combat, the main focus of the game is exploration and loot. There's tons of loot in the game, and it's fun to collect and sort through. You're always looking for that bigger, better gear and weapons. The graphics in the game are, I would say that the environments are like PS4 quality, but the character models and enemy models are more of a current gen quality. There's good voice acting, good soundtrack. The cutscenes in the game are good. They're only at the beginning of the chapter and after you defeat the boss at the end of the level. The only other thing that was disappointing, besides it could have had a much better story, is that it doesn't use any of the PS5 controller features. But anyway, a fun game if you're into hack and slash RPGs. Let's check out the trailer for Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance.
We call them beholders, wraiths, giants. They call us snacks. So when those bastards come to claim your world, send their ass to hell.
Alright, our next game is a game called Besiege, and this is a physics-based single-player game that revolves around you creating medieval weapons and vehicles. And it's a game that I play in shorter bursts in between the bigger games that I'm playing. It's a lot of fun, and it's really satisfying when you're just creating havoc and destruction. So there's an overworld map with different locations on it and different challenges you take on. The game has no story, and it's the big messed up I think this game took. If you were taking on these missions to create these gigantic weapons and everything, and you had this, this really evil tyrant that was taking over kingdoms, it just would have added a lot more to it. But it is what it is. So basically, you're just using your imagination and engineering ability, and you just create these siege weapons and vehicles and take out soldiers and structures. Really simple. You pick parts, you build, you test, you destroy. You just try and experiment. You go as big and bad as you want. If it works, great. If it doesn't, you modify it. You try a different design or concept. You make it tougher, more destructive. You may need to make it steer better because you are going to have to avoid enemy projectiles and bombs and the like. There's over 50 levels. There's a free-roaming camera that works really well. There's a sandbox option where you can just create and save different siege weapons that you can import into the game later. And there's also user-generated content that you can use for inspiration for your design or bring it in the game and use it. The graphics, they look pretty good. They're minimalistic, but they get the job done. A lot of earth tone colors. But yeah, it's a different kind of game, especially if you like to build and destroy things. So let's check out the trailer for Besiege. Oh, and it also came. It's a Japanese import. I got it through Amazon, and it came with the soundtrack of the game as well. All right, here's the trailer. Alright, we'll do one bonus game today. You know how I like to show you Japanese options for games that didn't get American releases. And this game just came out on PlayStation Premium, and that's The Man Who Erased His Name. Really great game. I don't understand why it didn't get a North American release, but unfortunately it didn't. But fortunately you get a Japanese import, and it is completely playable in English on your PlayStation 5. So, see if it's a game you're interested in. So here's a trailer for The Man Who Erased His Name.
もう自分の過去も人生も名前すら捨てている。死んだはずの男だ。
Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name features 2 schools of dynamic, bone-shattering combat, and more than a few new tricks. Wield 2 unique fighting styles, mixing and matching movesets to battle your way through the criminal underworld. Yakuza style features wildly aggressive, high-impact moves to topple foes with flashy, explosive attacks. Agent style uses an array of high-tech gadgets to deal damage with blinding speed and acute precision. Switch strategically between styles to handle threats of all kinds, and experiment with combinations to regain the advantage when the odds are against you. Simple to pick up and thrilling to master. Unleash the full force of Kiryu's fury with this dual combat system. Ready for a challenge? Head to the castle, a mysterious container ship located in Osaka Bay. Test your luck in the casino. Customize your style in the boutique, or enter the Colosseum and put your fighting skills to the test. Fight solo in brutal death matches, or build fearsome crews in Hell Team Rumble, an all-out melee with swarms of enemies in deadly large-scale brawls. Beef up your roster with the legendary Fighter Pack, featuring renowned Yakuza Goro Majima, Daigo Dojima, and Taiga Saijima.
Alright, that's it for Volume 17 of PlayStation 5 Hidden Gems. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video game selection today. If it did help you find a game or two, please throw me a like, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Sorry I didn't seem as prepared as I usually am, but I really wanted to get a video out for you this week. So, until the next one, take care, may you be blessed, and I am out of here. See you later.